We're going to be working on our boat today. Going to be sanding down the trailer, so it's going to be kind of loud. If you don't like loud noises, then this is your warning. Just letting you know. What's my boat? Yeah, trailer, yeah. The boat is over here. Let me see if I can turn it around. I don't know if you can see that there. It's a 14-foot John boat. Needs a lot of work, but I got it real cheap. I also got a 7 horsepower Chrysler outboard motor. I didn't even know Chrysler made outboard motors. It's in really good shape though, so we should be able to get it up and running. Is this too boring for you guys? Is this fine? Watching me sand and angle grind? Thanks, Jack. Thanks for stopping in. Make sure this is tight enough. All right, I'm gonna get back at it. If you have any questions, just holler. I'll try to see him. If not, wait until I come and talk to the camera when I get too tired because I'm too fat to sand anymore. All right, I'm gonna get back to grinding. I don't know if you can tell from here, but the inside of this frame, I don't know what it's called, but it's a C-shaped frame. So the inside, like right here, really hard to get to. So if you guys have any suggestions on how to get to those nooks and crannies like that, it's all just surface rust, but I am getting ready to spray paint it, so I wanted to get rid of all that surface rust. But you have any suggestions on how to get inside those, I don't know what it's called. What is it called? A C-frame, an I-frame? I don't know. Angle iron? I don't know, something like that. But if you have any suggestions on how to get inside of it, let me know. Yep, I'm live.
I'm gonna hold off on the meal trimming for the dog till later in the week.
Okay.
But I am gonna leave early to.
Everything all right?
Yeah, they don't open till 10, and I just
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like they'll be really busy right then. So
Okay.
my Friday off, I'll do them.
All right. Welcome in. Working on my boat trailer currently, but for my boat project. I've never really used an angle grinder before, so if you have any suggestions, just let me know. I don't know if you can see it from there, but inside the frame, see all that surface rust? I'm having a hard time getting up in there. If anybody has any suggestions, let me know. They make a tool for something like that, for an angled iron arm like this. If anybody has any suggestions on how to get into those angles on the inside of that iron, let me know. I had originally bought a orbital sander and started all that. Buddy of mine told me that I need to sand it and get it smooth, and so I mistook his sand it and get it smooth with it's got to remove all the paint. So I took this down to bare metal, used like 10 80 grit, maybe 40 grit sandpaper pads before he finally told me, no, just get it smooth. So the paint can still be on there, just get it smooth. And to be honest with you, this trailer is not or this boat and trailer is not going to be like the best looking thing on the water, right? This is going to be a fish mobile, so it doesn't have to be the best looking thing. Might be a new time for wire brush. It got 90% of the boat though. Well, not 90, but you know, like 75% of the boat. So it's done pretty good. Let me compare a new one with what I got. Oh yeah, I think it's time. No, I'm not wearing a mask. Yeah, I know. I do have bigger safety glasses though. I pulled a one of these little metal things out of my leg yesterday. That's what I get for wearing shorts. Well, I need to change the disc, but I don't have a large enough wrench to go over that. Let me look in a different toolkit. I might have one there. I'll be right back. If I could remember where all my tools are at, I might be able to do this quicker. Welcome in, everybody. Sorry I haven't been able to speak much, but I'm grinding away at this boat project. All right. Does anybody know how to remove? This is a Hercules grinding wheel on a Bauer angle grinder, and I don't have anything big enough to unscrew that. Oh, there's a lock. I forgot there's a lock. Okay, let me try it again. All right. I don't have the right size wrench to get in here and turn this. I did find the lock button. So, oh, wait a second, I may have just gotten it. Hey, I figured it out. All right, so putting a new disc on. Finish up some of the tough areas where the surface rust is on the trailer. And then I'll probably hit it with the Orville sander just to smooth it out a little bit. I think it's ready for paint. Like I said, it's not going to be the most beautiful boat on the water, but it will be functional. Show you the difference between a new one and the old one. This is the old one. Still probably got some life in it, but it's shorter now, so it's harder to reach places. This is the new one. Thicker, more brushes on the inside, more of these wires on the inside, longer. Should be able to reach some of those places now. These are pretty good because they just thread on. So they're pretty good. All right, we're going to continue the angle grinding of the boat trailer. I'm still looking for suggestions on how to best get inside the angle iron on the inside frame. We got a solid frame bar in the middle, and then all of these iron side pieces are angle iron, so really hard to reach. If you have any suggestions, please leave them there. I mean, they're all angle iron. The only thing that's a solid piece is this and this and the wheel hub. All right. One more drink, then we get to grinding. I went fishing yesterday and I did a live stream. Fishing was tough yesterday. I only caught 3, maybe 4 fish. 3 catfish and a gar. And the catfish were okay size. They were fun size, but it was so hot. I was out there for almost 10 hours. So today I decided to not fish and work on the boat. I have a little plastic pontoon boat right now, a little plastic pond prowler. you can get from Bass Pro Shop. That's why the channel is called Big Guy Little Boat. But I am upgrading to a 14-foot John boat. So I'll still be Big Guy Little Boat, but my boat just won't be as little. Did anybody watch the live stream yesterday? let that angle grinder cool down a little bit. Maybe reposition so you guys can see the whole trailer. It's warm out here today. I do have a fan set up so I can cool off. But we're in that Georgia heat. There ain't no getting around it. Hey Keegan, working on my boat project today. Still going to be a big guy, little boat, but my boat will be just a little bit bigger. When it's done, probably toward the end of the summer, maybe into winter a little bit, it'll be a 14-foot John boat. I think it's 56 inches wide, I think. I'm not 100% certain how you measure a John boat. It's wider at the top than it is at the bottom. I think you measure the bottom. So the bottom is like 46 inches, I believe. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a towel so I can wipe this sweat. Keegan, you ever done any angle grinding before? You got any suggestions for me on how to get to the angle iron hollow frame, how to get the rust on the inside? No, it's all right, man. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, and I bought the boat so I'd have an excuse to buy tools and learn how to use them. So it's a learning process, you know what I mean? You want to see the boat, Keegan? It's nothing to look at right now, but it's a boat. "14-foot John boat, structurally good. I'm going to put a subfloor in it, maybe a deck up front. It came with a 7 horsepower Chrysler outboard, which I think is, Chrysler stopped making outboards like in the 80s. It's really good. Everything moves on it. It looks clean on the inside, but you know, still have to get it up and running. It hasn't ran in a long time. This boat was last tagged in Tennessee in '09, so it's been a long time for this boat, and it's set for a long time. But it's in structurally good shape. I don't think it has any leaks, but I do plan on putting a subfloor in it and tricking it out to be a catfishing boat. 700 horsepower, yeah. Yeah, it's not bad. It looks like someone turned it into a duck hunting boat at some point, I would say, with that wonky camouflage on it, but maybe that's just their choice. I'll tell you what, this trailer right here has had 6 coats of paint on it. White, brown, yellow, green. It's been crazy. But all the rust, this thing was covered in rust. All the rust was surface rust. Here, I'll show you a little bit of the boat. I'm going to grab the camera, or I'll show you a little bit of the trailer. Grab the camera, disconnect my power. flip around the camera just to kind of show you. Had like this type of rust on there, nothing crazy. The hardest part about getting is these reflective stickers, man. Those things are hell to get off. I need to replace this unit. I'm gonna cut this off completely. Someone really didn't want it removed. They welded that thing on there like crazy. And but I'm gonna cut that off and get one of those units that just clamps over the neck. It does have a really long neck, which they say is good for backing up. But I don't know. I've never really backed up a boat before, so I'm sure I'll be that guy at the boat dock that you know, they make videos of as I try to back my boat up 27 times to get it down the ramp. You can see here, this was almost smooth chrome-like metal. It's aluminum, I think, or steel. And I did sand this down first, and you can already see that it's been several weeks. Some of the surface rust is coming back. It'll get hit just to knock it down. Inside places I'm finding hard to get to, and that's the angle iron I'm talking about. I got to get on the inside of there. Some places I can reach, and some places I can't. I don't know, man. They did not want that thing to be removed, though. There's the palm prowler from yesterday when I was fishing. It's going to rain tonight, so I'm going to have to take it out of the back of the truck. I'm not going to be fishing today. 10 hours on the water yesterday, and in that heat just exhausted me. So I'll have a couple of fish videos I'm putting out this week, but other than that, I did catch a few yesterday, but just not many. But you can see that angle, like some of that rust. It's all surface rust. It comes off pretty easy, but some of it is quite thick. The got to get wheels for it. The wheel hubs are still good, but they need to be re-greased and, you know, cleaned up, set. So it's got these tail light things. I still have with them yet. I think they're in good enough shape that if I just sand them down and paint them, they'll look all right. Got to redo the boards that the boat sets on. These are in pretty good shape, but I'm just going to go ahead and put brand new boards on there with new carpet and stuff. You can see the rust though. It's not too bad. You can see where I've been working. That angle grinder honestly has saved me a lot of time. That area right there was one of those reflective stickers, and that took the longest. But you can see it needs some work. Here's the boat. Not bad. I'm a little concerned with that outboard on the back of it, and me setting, because it's a tiller outboard, with me setting in the back of it, that it'll tip up a lot. But I do plan on putting a deck maybe up front, probably to this crease you see right here, and maybe storing all my batteries and stuff up there so that there's some weight up front. I will be running an outboard, a tiller outboard on this, and a trolling motor. So there should be some weight up front, but I'm heavy, and here's the motor. So it's in really good shape. Everything turns still pretty well. I don't know if it has compression. We haven't gotten that far yet, but this will be what I'm working on next after the boat. It's a 7 horsepower Chrysler, 7.5 horsepower Chrysler. I guess Chrysler made boat motors in the up until the late 80s. There's my motorcycle. I think I'm going to sell it. I haven't driven it in about 6 months. Georgia motorcycle riding is different than Arizona motorcycle riding. I think I'm going to sell it though. Yeah, I think so too. Gonna have to do everything on that boat motor, but I'm pretty good about it. I think it's in pretty good shape. Let me plug it back into power. Get one more drink of water, and I will start to sanding again, start grinding again. I think I'm going to be more on this end, so I'll have that out there for you guys so you can see. This thing is warm. For at least 5 minutes. It's pretty warm. You can see though that it cleaned off that front end pretty good. It pretty rusty. Surface rust. I think that's as smooth as I'm going to let it get, and then I'm just going to paint over it. Just notice I need to hit under that lid. I guess eventually I'll have to flip it over and do the underside too. I've never actually seen the underside, so it could be pretty rusty. That's the part that gets in the water the most. That most likely won't happen today. You think an angle grinder with a, you know, like a diamond wheel, cutting wheel on it would cut this off? I mean, this is a 1/2 inch of welding on here, man, onto this plate. They did not want that thing removed. You guys think it would get cut off though? And I'm just going to replace it with one that just latches onto the frame. That one was broken, so might as well just get rid of it, but they didn't want it removed. So do you think an angle grinder would cut that off? Let me know what you think. This might be boring for you all. Maybe you're expecting fishing videos or something, but I fished for 10 hours yesterday and it was pretty exhausting in that heat, so I decided to take the day off and work on my boat project. So if you're in here, say hi in the chat, and there will be new fishing videos released this week. And I've recently released some 10-second short videos on the kind of educational on the life cycle of the catfish and blue catfish. So go check those out if you're interested. They're on my channel. It is hot though out here, man. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to try to do first is angle grinder with a cutting wheel, and hopefully it comes right off. But man, that thing is welded on there. Whew. There's a breeze right there. That's real nice. Throw things around. I think I'm going to hit the end of this again, get that area that I missed under the lips. It's probably that way on both sides. And then I'm going to grab a chair or something to try to get on the inside of this frame. I wonder if it ended up sideways would work better in some fashion. Anyway, I don't have any way to secure that way, but it might help. Maybe I can hang it from the ceiling or something. I might try to get some chemical remover, rust remover for the inside of that angle iron frame, because unless they make something for that angle grinder or another tool that I just am unaware of, I can't think of any other way that I can get into it. The rust isn't bad. I just don't know if, like, Rust-Oleum primer, if that paint will just start to peel after a time. I'm looking for any suggestions. If anybody in the comments have any suggestions on how to get into this angle iron frame to remove rust on the inside of it. It's a cross beams, steel cross beams that are C-shaped, and the inside is hollow. And I'm having trouble getting there for rust, so I'm looking for any suggestions. But I would say we're just a couple more of these sessions on this, and we're ready to spray paint this. Then we can start on the boat. Well, spray paint it, cut that off, put the new one on, get tires, get the wheel hubs all greased up and stuff. So a couple weeks probably, and we're ready to paint. I'm pretty happy with the progress. Okay, that's not a bad idea, and it's actually C-shaped, you know, like this. So just a block of wood inside there with the sandpaper, maybe a pain in the butt, but you know, at least some of it will get knocked down. That's not bad. I could even put a small handle on that block of wood to get some really good leverage. I bet they make something like that. I'll have to look into that. That's a really good idea. Thanks, Viking. But yeah, I bought my first boat, which is that Pond Prowler, big guy little boat. Loved it so much that after owning that little boat for 2 months, I bought a John boat. And the John boat is 14 feet long, and it'll be my future catfishing rig. So instead of, I'm not going to fish today, so I'm going to do a live video today. And so I'm working on the boat project. Viking, since you just got here, let me show you the boat. I'm going to turn the camera around. There it is right there. So it's pretty standard 14-foot John boat. I don't know what year it was made, but it was last tagged in 09, as you can see by the stickers, in Tennessee. I looked for a nameplate on the outside of it, you know, a builder's plate. Will have the serial number and the boat number and the maker and the model. But I mean, it's not on the outside, so it might be on the inside. And I haven't flipped it over yet to really examine it. So yeah, that's what also an option too, Keegan, is chemical, right? So they make some. I have pets, I have dogs, and this is their backyard. They make some pretty good organic, well, not organic, but pretty good stuff that you can use that's not bad for your yard and not bad for pets. So I do too, just to give it a shot. But do you guys think that if I don't do anything with the inside of that frame and leave that rust the way it is on there, that it'll affect the paint in a short amount of time? What do you guys think? I think it will. Yeah, I'm thinking that with the painting and stuff, and there's been some repairs to the boat that maybe it got removed, the nameplate or the builder plate. I think it's an older boat though. Um, Anything built before 1978 or 1968, I can't remember which one. They weren't required to put that information on the boat, but since they you know, I guess back then you didn't have to tag a boat, and now that you have to tag them and register them with the state so they can get their money. Every boat has to have an identification, a BIN, a boat identification number. And so the good news is, if it's an older boat, when I go to get it registered, I don't have to worry about that. They'll just plate it in some fashion, like an antique boat or something. If it is older than that, or if it is newer than that, and it does require that number, you can do all this stuff online. And to be honest with you, I'll tell you a little secret. I bought that Pawn Prowler from Facebook Marketplace, and bought it from a young kid, and he didn't give me a bill of sale, right? It was just a handshake deal. Got a really good price on it, and it was just a handshake deal. And so when it came time to get my number for my boat, I just had AI create a bill of sale, to be honest, and I gave it to the state, and they didn't freaking care. And they gave him a number, so we were good to go. If that's the case with this one, I'll do the same thing. I'll just do it online, and have AI create information for the state. I honestly think it's an older boat though, and I don't think I have to worry about it. My dogs are out here. Hi, Jake. Come here. Come here. I don't know if you guys can see, but this is Maggie. The neighbor's mowing her yard, so it's freaking him out. Jake, the old dog, he doesn't want anything to do with the mower. He's gone. He wants back inside. He just came outside. He wants back in. Funny story about Maggie. I don't know if you guys saw her or not. Let me pick her up. I'll get over. Maggie, come here. Maggie, come here.
Good girl. Good girl.
I'm gonna pick you up. This is Maggie. Maggie, look at the camera. Yeah. And I went fishing in West Point before I had a boat, so I was going to go fishing the lake up there from near the dam. And I ended up not going fishing because I saw this puppy, no more than 8 months old, 8 to 12 months old, eating a carcass on the road. She was fighting off carrion birds, trying to eat a carcass. And so I said if she, I stopped the car, and I said if she comes to the car, I'll pick her up, and we'll see what we'll do with her. Maybe we'll take her to a pet adoption center or whatever. And as soon as I called her, she ran straight to the car. She wanted in the car. So we took her to PAWS, which is an association around here for abandoned animals. And she didn't have a chip or anything, and she was 8 to 12 months old, and she was pregnant. And she had ringworm and heartworm and all that stuff. So we took her to the vet. They took care of all that for us. And she became our dog. We were not wanting another dog. We have an elderly dog. His name is Jake. And but they quickly hit it off, and so we adopted her. So I didn't go fishing that day, man. I had a bucket full of minnows. I had fresh worms to catch bait, and they had other plans. The pet distribution center had other plans. So at the time, we had 2 dogs: a boy dog named Jake, who's a border collie, or a shepherd collie or border collie, I think, and Maggie, who we think is just a mutt. And then we had 3 cats. So one of our elderly cats passed away recently, so we're now down to 4 animals. We have 2 female cats. You'll never see them. They're like roommates that don't pay the rent, and they don't let us pet them. So, but we still love them. Yeah. So Maggie's now enjoying the sunlight. Let me see See if I can turn the camera around, see if you guys can see her. She goes out every day and sits in the sun like that and gets a sun bath. Man, you'd think that that black fur would make her really hot, but she loves it. She does it every day. Finds a ray of sun and sits in it for a while. Well, I think I'm done working on the boat for today, guys. I appreciate you popping into my channel. Like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I do put out 2 fishing videos a week. I try to put out 2 fishing videos a week. And recently I've been doing some educational videos on catfish species. So flathead and blue cats are out now, so give those a watch. They're 10 seconds long, and there's 10 to 15 of them each. So, and I do put them out as a whole video at some point, minute and a half, something like that to watch. So give them a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, but I think I'm going to call it for the day. I'm too hot. I think I'm at a good point with the sanding of the boat, and I think it's time to call it. Thanks for coming in, guys. Have a good rest of your day.